This is Harry Gines, the first black man of reparations in U.S. history. I'm coming to you today to bring to you another episode of The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man is a character produced, created by Ralph Ellison. Now, in particular, today, we want to be able to name drop, but at the same token, we want to introduce these people that are being given credit for their contribution in U.S. Black history. The year is 2019, and this being a presentation given to give honor to those who have made a path for those in the future. I'd like to introduce to the world, so we have a picture and an article with the name being dropped. Make sure you have all that in. That is the man, the creator of The Invisible Man. That story was a novel. It was a fictional novel that was later produced to a movie. Might have a few episodes to it, but not many. But Ralph Ellison was quite a writer of his era. There's also some questions that I would like for you to read about that. Yes, but I get these questions in for you, so we're very clear on how we're going to bring this presentation today. This will help. Notice the questions. Okay. Now, if you have that, again, that was very important to try to get the questions in there as clear as I possibly could. I'm not sure how those questions are coming into your screen, but we definitely want those questions in their entirety shown. And you may have to be patient with that. Yes. Now, with that being said, the publication itself, everything that's being shown today is a thought, an idea, a business. Everything today being shown to you is authentic. It's very authentic and very personal. I've done a presentation on Aretha Franklin, a tribute to Aretha Franklin on the Harry Gines YouTube page. The husband of Aretha Franklin was Glenn Turman, if you remember that video. But however, today it's important that we also examine who is putting the material out. That's very important. I just showed you a leaflet, but you first drew to the name. That is what the eye and the mind does. It draws to the picture and it draws to the name. But yet, as it really gets to the fine print, today we want to even examine that, because the person who put this together, Turman Publishing, this is the products of Glenn Turman. So it's quite a collage of work that I will be presenting today and in the future, as a way of showing that our icons are shunned or even overlooked. Glenn Turman was a man of the 20th century, but also was a star of the 21st century. But his claim to fame started much earlier, by the time the 21st century was coming out. He was, doing television episodes, but he was a motion picture star, Glenn Turman. Now, his efforts in trying to bring to you a collage of African American icons. That is what he did. And he had a publication going on a regular basis. Now, the strangest thing, because I am bringing you these publications by Terman Publishing, I haven't asked them for any permission. And excuse me, I'm also being a solicitor, so that the world will recognize. It's not necessarily a profit here. This is not a matter of profit. This is a matter of education. So when the publication was originally made, again, what I'm trying to get at is technology has come a long way since then. This is the first time that I have ever seen the publication, how I'm bringing it to you in the 21st century. But it is definitely something that was done and created in the 20th century. Now, why is that important? It's important because it's very vague when you look at the cover. The cover is very basic, it's very plain, it has a title, and it has a picture. You see, but if that be the case, each publication, like a Jet magazine or an Ebony, they would all do the same thing, But what I'm trying to go with is, as Google, Yahoo, and Bing introduce products from the 20th century coming into the 21st century, there's a lot left back in the 20th century. You see, so when we challenge tech, it's not always something of, is it correct with the information that it's giving, but was it all, did it leave out anybody in particular? Well, that is what the Invisible Man today is coming to bring to you. Products that were not available to merit the networks of the 21st century. Those products that were left out, I'm introducing today. I'm introducing Miss Janet Jackson. Miss Janet Jackson is the first face of a cover to be shown on a publication of an African American man. This is Glenn Terman. His work, his pieces, his thoughts, his ideas, his publishing company. You see, I'm not trying to undercut anybody. I'm trying to show that we of that era, we done our best too, to try to pave the way. Technology left something behind, and we want to bring our works. You see, all of the African American males who done writings, it's not just James Baldwin, he's not the only one, Langston Hughes, they're not the only ones. This is something from an era that maybe got left behind. You see, and that's important. When we do a Black History Month, that's kind of like what happens. It's the same song. It's been around a while, Black History Month, since Lyndon B. Johnson introduced it. But yet that's been a while. So every time a presentation comes up, Black History Month, it's like, but we saw that last year, so there's never anything new and fresh. And technology is a way of bringing things, new and fresh, but yet actually it's not new at all. It got left behind. So no harm done, is just that the Invisible Man has to come and bring it to you. As it was in the 20th century, you now can be able to see the stars. The stars publication is being made available, as many as I have. Now you may have some out there also, but if you notice, you don't seem to have stars when you're hitting your web. Why can't you go to stars? Stars is something that, a generation grew up with, but yet when you try to look for those publications, it could be fun. which one do you have? It was something of a, maybe even a trade, as boys and girls like to do. So it could be fun. But yes, the Invisible Man will be bringing additional publications from the Stars publication. I will be introducing those into the 21st century. So without further ado, if I can give you another, in fact, let's make sure we got Miss Janet Jackson, as she parts with us today. She's going to part here in a second, but this is the very first Stars publication that's being introduced by Harry Gines as the Invisible Man. These were all invisible up until now. You see, up until now, it was all invisible. Because who has these publications? Is Harry Gines, the Invisible Man, the only one that has such remaining leaflets and excerpts from the Stars publications? I don't believe that. So why don't other people show their stars? What do they have from that era? Because like I said, I don't believe I'm the only one, but it's not being introduced. And you can check it. You can check it on, your networks. It's not there. So this is new as far as the 21st century is concerned. But a lot of us remember these, these publications. So let me just do a quick synopsis of, let's say, Black History Month. Okay, so this would have been something of that era that would have been published. Yes. Now, this one is in very good condition, but some of my work now, most of them actually are, they're very rough condition. So they could be reprinted, yes, but as I have them right now, they're very rough. So anything that's been rough, has been put in some work. So yes, and this would be a Black History Month piece, So let me continue. If you know the story, you would know that Mr. Spike Lee. Yes, remember Mr. Spike Lee? Everybody knows Spike. Come on, who doesn't know Spike Lee? Well, he was also made part, to a Star publication. This is pretty early in his career, but yet it lists all of his movies at that point, prior to the making of Malcolm X. It was also listing that. So you may have some notes that you might have took from that article. And then the questions would be, yes, to make sure we get the questions in there. Let me get those questions in there as good as I can for you. You see the questions? Scroll up. And hopefully you have those. Hopefully you do. I don't know if we're coming into your screen correctly. I don't know. But we just make sure that everything is possibly there for you. Some things the cameras don't show backwards or forwards. I don't know. I'm doing my best to bring you the questions and the article from Spike Lee and the movie Malcolm X. If we went a little further with that, you would have had someone like, let's do, yeah, there are quite a few here. This is very interesting. Remember I was telling you before how it's always just the same every Black History Month. But in starting something with Black History Month, it would be very difficult to leave any icon out, especially someone like this. You see, someone like this you definitely wouldn't want to leave out of any Black history ceremony, presentation. That's something you wouldn't want to do. The civil case that freed him It's very long, just in volumes, how long that case would be. The average person uh, would need some time. Just the average person would definitely need some time. If you were an exceptional student, wouldn't matter either. You would even need time with it. But let me get these questions to you as best I can from that Dred Scott piece. Some questions in there. Make sure you have those. Yes. Okay. Now, with that, these type of presentations are something, like I said, it's not just about going back in time. Time and space is something that the Invisible Man specialized in. But again, my very opening was about the company. If you really think about it, a publishing company, someone like Terman Publishing, is he still interested and active in that project? I don't know. But this could be something for him to revisit. Lots of times people have projects that don't always take off at the beginning. But this is the 21st century, and things that you would do, you would have to revisit sometimes. Because he put together some great synopsis. Real nice synopsis. I'm hoping that's coming in clear for you, just so that you get the general idea of what happened in someone's life that was actually documented. Mr. Terman obviously did a great deal of work with this. This was something that he really may have majored in, and to be able to, at that time, what wouldn't be done by any 21st century other than probably what's still around. The typewriter, yeah, it was around for sure, but they had other little things coming out with the computer. The computer could do some things as far as printing, but then there was a word processor too, which was a step up from a microfiche. There were just steps up along the way. As you're seeing today, technology is really, Jetson-like, cartoons, Jetsons, it really is like that now. But this wouldn't be something made with any kind of 21st century tech. At best, like I said, it would probably might have been having maybe the word processor somewhere in that era. But yes, it's just amazing just how much work is really in these. I just comprised them together. That's all I really did. I haven't really went through them the way I would like to. Maybe I could get them by, how do you say, if they were actually matched up with the volume it came out of. Some of these may not have been in the same volume. I don't know. But at the time, I just hard stapled them all together so that they would at least remain for this date and time and space. This is like a time capsule coming at you. The Invisible Man does things like that. But just check this one out. That's one that you favor today, even still. He's a very favorable actor. Everybody likes Denzel. But that's the synopsis for it. See if there were some questions. Yeah, the questions, I may have had those right on the side, so this might make an even better presentation for you. You can get all that in one. You can get all that right there together. Make sure you get all that. Okay, now that's the meat of this presentation. Because that is what I would like to do at a later time. At a later time, we can keep going with this. Because like I said, we're very early. This is I'm calling it pre-Black History. This is January 10th. So um, preparation is important. How would you present something that's new? Like I said, even from the publishing company, this is raw. So it's coming into the 21st century right now. This would be a term in publishing. That's what this is about, term in publishing. So that's a African American, finest. That's special. He put a lot of work into that. Yes, he did. Must have, and it's still around. There has to be someone else out there. I can't believe that I am the only person that's still holding publications from the stars. This is someone you might know. He's been recognized a very long time. He's a good-looking guy. Look at him. He's a good-looking guy. Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal. He's a dominant player in the NBA. If there was anything that could be said about him, just dominant. He's quite amazing man, and he has a master's degree. Very humble in speaking about his master's degree. But as we look at the finer print today, most of the time, like I said, you pick up a magazine, you're not really looking at the editors. You've seen the cover, and that's all you're pretty much going with. But for the purpose of, like I said, this being a 20th century product, in all fairness to everybody, because of how technology is today, this could be mass produced very simply as it's coming to you now, you see. So in all fairness, the copyright remains. You see, I'm not here trying to undercut anybody or anything like that. That's not what this is about. This is Black History Month, a pre-Black History Month presentation. So it has nothing to do with trying to do something underhanded. I would like to see this in every school across the United States. And it could be possible today, because there's something that's kind of missing when we really talk about the core. The core we understand, but yet as the upgrade in Black history, yes, there's plenty of people today that have a worthiness to advance on things that can consider them part of history today. So 100 years from now, I'm speaking about I'm introducing myself as the first man of reparations. So 100 years from now, I won't be around, but you guys will say, wow, he even saw it then. Yes. Everything must have an upgrade to it. We can't just keep talking about Frederick Douglass, because we really, as African Americans, don't have an identity other than being a slave. You really don't have an identity. You have individuals, and that's what this does. This brings all the individualism that you could ever find. Remarkable, and we should pattern ourselves to be all we can be. You need role models. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm simply saying, yes, this is a publication that is just as important, maybe even more important if we look at it from a 21st century perspective, because there's very few, Black publishing companies. I mean, of course, there's more today than was in the past, of course, but even still, we really could use that, and especially someone as gifted, as a Glenn Turman. His products are very worthy of our attention, especially with material like this, and the way the schools are, Let me just show you that, though. I should have showed you this to begin with, actually, but it's very difficult to set things out the way you would like them. But just see if you can look at that, and you might see the copyright. Let me go to the copyright on that. There's a copyright in there, so to get real close in there, and as close as I can to that fine print, where you can actually see, determined product. You see, that's his copyright. And he also mentions how this could be used, you know, in the school system. He mentions that. It's a time capsule of a thought. You see, when you think about that, he saw something in his era that wasn't maybe, it was just difficult. It's always a struggle, you know. It's always a struggle to get your ideas off. This could be ripe. This could be the ripening of the determined product. You know, it's ripened. I hope that happens, but we have to give it the support. You know, like I said, if you have some stars, you know, any individual out there that has some stars, you know, let it be known. You know what? Send something over the air. You know, it will make a difference. I assure you. But yes, there's so many publications that he had. I mean, it's, you know, all the basic ones. You know, how could you not know of, you know, Booker T. Washington? I mean, come on. You know, how could you not know that? But again, as you're reaching back, you know, 19th century, 20th century, but again, that's my point. When we determine publishing that's worthy by itself, regardless of how he comprised it, you know, he comprised a lot of black icons. That's great. But that part is great. But just the fact of him being an African American male, you know, I mean, we know of Spike Lee, but yet this covers a great deal of thought process to be able to organize it, and every month have another edition. You know, so he did a very good thing here, and we really need to, I don't know, this is coming into the 21st century now, you know. And I think if you really look at it, I think we've seen this one to show you how things happen. Haven't you seen this face? So even the artwork becomes something, you know, but haven't you seen that face? You know, there's supposed to be a dollar bill. You know, I don't know what denomination it was supposed to be, but there was some talk that she would have on some currency. Her face would be on some currency, even a postage stamp. I think she's already got a postage stamp. But yeah, it's amazing how that picture, you know, has circulated throughout the United States. You know, so she's very well getting her just desserts. But we need, you know, people to, you know, look at the people of our era. You know, we can always go way back. You know, yes, this was one. You know, and again, this is to show you the how you say the ethnic. You know, the ethnic was definitely what it specialized in. That's what the magazine specialized in. Not just men, you know, not just men. It was also very much focusing on the women of that era who were very dominant in politics. You see, she was very much a factor. You know, she spoke for the White House long before, I mean, even before Obama was even, you know, around. So she's very experienced, you know, and this publication just gives that synopsis so easy for you to follow. You could really practically memorize it, you know. And then there would be other sports figures too, that are more internationally famous. You know, someone like Hakeem Olajuwon. You know, let's look at Hakeem. So you know a lot about Hakeem Olajuwon. You know, he's an international player. You know, found himself winning a couple of championships. You know, and that might be challenging. The reason why I'm giving you that, because the questions to that, you know, the questions to Hakeem Olajuwon might be kind of challenging for you. So we would definitely want to show those questions of Hakeem Olajuwon. You know. But yes, I could go on and on, you know, with this. But today, I think I have brought something that's new to a Black history presentation. And I'll hope that there be other followers that would bring these out. You know, it's a good thing, you know, to be able to reach back to Mr. Terman, you know, to check in on him. Hey, that was some good work you put out back in the day, and it's right in the 21st century. It's very much right. So let's see if we can advance on those ideas of Mr. Terman and see if we can all come together. That's what it's about. This is Harry Gines, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and look forward to some more of those stars. I have plenty more where that came from.